All right, so we're gonna start seated. So wherever you want to sit, if you want to sit on a chair or if you want to sit on the floor, whatever works for you. Charge this real quick. There we go. So we'll sit nice and tall as we usually do. Check in with the spine and the posture. Just any wiggling or movements you need to do that feels good. And when you're ready, we're going to close the eyes and we're going to turn the palms up facing the sky or the ceiling. And just start to breathe in and out. It's taking those first couple of breaths to start to relax a little bit more. Just little by little settling in, slowing down in this super fast-paced world. Noticing all of the thoughts, feelings, sensations that you may or may not be experiencing on this particular day. Feel the temperature of your breath, the temperature of your body, and the temperature of the air against your skin. Arriving into your space, being a non-judgmental space for you to practice your asana, your physical practice, and to practice your meditation and breath, and just to be present with no goal of a clear mind, no goals at all. Just here to soak everything in, to be with our breath, and to be just in this moment for this hour. And no matter what, there will always be some kind of distraction, whether you're in your home, as we all are, or even if you're somewhere on a deserted island beach, there could still even there be a distraction of a thought or a sound. So instead of fighting those thoughts and sounds and sensations, just pretend that you are just floating up in the clouds somewhere and just observing everything that's going on as if you're a third person observing everything. Let's just take a couple moments. We'll take 5 to 10 breaths here just to find some silence and let everything slowly start to calm down. On your own, at your own pace, take 3 rounds of breath. Each round breathing in through your nose, taking the biggest breath you've taken all day, and exhaling that breath out through the mouth. And we'll do that 3 times on your own. My cat's joining us too. And if you haven't already, one more big breath. Bring your hands into prayer in front of your heart. Bow your head forward, letting the chin fall to your chest. Tell yourself once or twice, I am enough. One of my favorite mantras to live by, I am enough. And start to blink the eyes open, looking down at your hands. And then let's sweep the arms out and up to the sky. Sweep them up a little bit. Yeah, reach it up, stretch. We'll hold them up there for a moment. We're gonna interlace the fingers, turn the palms up to the sky. Good, and then we're gonna side bend to whichever side you wanna start with. Side bend, take a breath. We'll inhale back to center and over to the other side. Nice little side bend. Nice morning stretch. Good, we'll come back to center. And then we're going to roll your wrists all the way as you bring the arms down to your side. We're gonna shrug the shoulders first, just up and down. Hold it up, hold it down. Like you're doing a little dance routine. And then we're gonna start to roll forward. Let's roll in a forward direction. You can go slow, medium, or fast pace. And then we're gonna roll them up and back. And then we're gonna alternate shoulders one at a time, rolling them up and back. Nice little alternating motion. Ooh, I feel some warmth building in the shoulders. Yeah, and then we're gonna shake it out, shake the arms, shake the wrists, maybe make some circles. Maybe some other movements there. And then we're gonna come to our backs. Come to your back, and we're gonna place the feet onto the floor. And we're going to cross the right foot over the left knee. We're going to take our seated pigeon or figure 4 stretch. Once you're set up, we're going to hug the left knee in if possible, or you can keep it on the floor. Interlace the fingers behind you if you lifted and find that resistance. Spread all 10 toes the best you can. So relax the shoulders once you get that stretch going in the outer hip. Take 3 more breaths here. Fabulous. We're going to release this stretch on this side. We're going to straighten the legs long. Like scooch a little bit. We're going to straighten the legs long, and we're going to reach the arms up overhead, full body stretch. When you're ready, we're going to bend the knees, place the feet on the floor, cross the opposite ankle, so left ankle over right knee and find your stretch of choice. If you want to keep the foot down or lift it, relax the shoulders, flex the feet, spread the toes. And then you know what to do here. Take your nice deep breaths. Try to find places that you can soften in the muscles, maybe the facial muscles or shoulders, neck. Take one more breath. And we're going to release the legs, straighten them out long onto the mat, full body stretch, reach the arms up, reach through fingertips, toes. Good. We'll bend the knees again, and we're going to come to happy baby, bending the knees in towards the armpits and reaching for the outer edges or possibly the inner edges of the feet, whatever is more comfortable. And you can rock or you can be still. Find your nice little happy baby stretch. Help take some tension off the low back. Open up the hips. Help support all of our digestive system organs. And we're going to bring the soles of your feet together into a butterfly. And then we're going to let the feet come back to the mat so that the knees fall out to either side in a butterfly position. So once you find your butterfly position, if for any reason, if it's too much for your hips to sit this way, you can use the hands a little bit to support or use some props underneath there to support if needed. But we are going to move a little bit here shortly. We're going to reach the arms up overhead, and we're going to just work some core muscles here. This particular one is really good for getting those lower abdominal muscles, and that's where we can get a lot of our strength for our future poses. So bear with me, this one's kind of a weird one. I didn't come up with this. We're gonna reach the arms up overhead. And so I'll show you here what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring the hands into prayer position. And we're going to start by lifting the head, curling the chest upward. And we're gonna try to lift the feet and try to touch the fingertips towards your feet, or even go past them or towards them, and then bring them back down and arms come back overhead. So that's pretty much the motion of what we're gonna do here. So inhale as you lengthen the arms and rest your back onto the mat. Take a big breath in. Breath out, curl and round, lift the feet, reach the hands in prayer position towards the feet. And we'll inhale, straight. Lengthen back out, feet come down, arms reach up. And we're going to take a couple rounds of these. Every time you curl and round is when you will exhale. Every time you rest, you will inhale. This way of doing these crunches or sit-ups is one of the most efficient ways of getting that core muscle warmed up, and also one of the safest. So we're going to do a couple more, just as many as you can. I'm not counting. So no need to count unless you already started counting. Go for it. We're just going to do it by feel here. If you feel like you can't do any more, that's when you can rest. If you feel like you can push yourself and do a couple more, go for it. I'm going to do 5 more personally. So if you can, stick to 5 more. There's 1. There's 2 for me. Exhaling as we curl around, inhaling as we lengthen. Rest. Ooh, I'm feeling it. That's 3 for me. So feel free to rest if you need to. That's 4 for me. I'm going to do 1 more. Awesome. Once you've finished your last one, just rest in this position. Eventually, when you're ready, you can straighten the legs long onto the mat and make a full body stretch. We're going to do 1 more pose on our backs. We're going to bend the knees, place the feet onto the ground, and reach the arms down alongside your hips. We're going to take bridge pose next. Just a heads up. We're going to roll the shoulders back any amount to help open up the chest to the sky. Plant the hands onto the mat alongside your hips. And any amount, scoot your heels in nice and close towards your body. Good. Take a breath to prepare. Turn your gaze up to the ceiling. And once your head is in a neutral position, start to lift the hips and find your bridge pose. Breathe into the heart, into the throat, into the shoulders. If any of you are feeling open in the shoulders, you might even interlace the fingers beneath you onto the mat, but no pressure to do that. And remembering to keep your gaze straight up towards the sky to keep the neck protected. Good. Next breath, lift your heels, coming to the balls of your feet, and lower down 1 vertebrae at a time until your tailbone comes down to meet the mat. Bring the feet wide to the outer edges of your mat, knees come in together to touch to neutralize the low back, or bring it back to neutral. And then we're just going to sway the knees from side to side. Once your low back is feeling ready, we're going to hug your knees into your chest. You can continue that side to side rocking if you'd like. Then we're going to come up to seated. If you want to rock to get there, or if you want to come to one side and press your way up to get there, you can. We're going to come back to seated. Come to crisscross applesauce, or sitting however is comfortable. If this doesn't work, you can sit any other way. We're going to inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, we're going to twist to either side, whichever side you want to start with. Hand comes to me, other hand reaches behind you. We'll take 3 big breaths, lengthening as you inhale and twisting through the mid-spine as you exhale. Good. We'll inhale, unwind your twist to lengthen. And we'll exhale, twist, other side. As always, just letting the neck go where it's comfortable, because our twist is not focused on the neck, it's focused on the mid-spine or the thoracic spine, as well as getting, well, twisting is not only just for the spine, as many of you know, twisting also helps it helps to promote the blood flow. That's what I was trying to say, into the organs. One more breath. Then we'll unwind the twist, turn back forward, and then let's come to tabletop, hands and knees. Here we go. Come to your hands and knees, tabletop position. Let's rinse it out with 2 or 3 cat-cows real quick. Then let's take a brief child's pose. Toes come together, knees are wide. Sit back into your child's pose, breathing onto the mat. Take one more breath in child's pose to prepare your body to move. And then next, inhale, we're gonna come up through tabletop, curl the toes under, downward dog. First one of the day. Walk it out. And breathe. As our eyes and our bodies are inverted, because we are in an inversion, we can see the world through a whole different perspective. Good. Let's start to tiptoe the feet forward till you come to forward folds, bending the knees as much as you need to once you get there, because it's better to just bend the knees now than to feel pain potentially later from pushing the hamstrings too far. Because sometimes, especially with, things like the hamstrings, we don't know we're hurting ourselves until maybe the next day. So it's always good to just be cautious. We always want to practice, not perform 100%. Let's inhale, lift halfway, lengthen the spine, reach through the crown of the head, and exhale, refold. Let the head fall heavy. You might even turn the head yes and no. And then we're going to come up very, very slowly. We're going to roll up one vertebrae at a time. So take a breath to prepare. And when you're ready, start to just roll, keeping your chin towards your chest. taking your time to roll up slowly. Your head will be the very last to come up. And once you lift the head, you can start to turn the palms towards the front of the room and roll the shoulders back. Tadasana. I invite you here to close the eyes for a moment in Tadasana and just feel the weight subtly being shifted between both feet until you find that center point of gravity. And then you can blink the eyes open. I'm going to turn to face you here. We're going to sweep the arms out and up to the sky. Don't worry about my head being cut off. I still have it. Exhale, reach it down to the side. Back to center. We're going to inhale, sweep it out and up. Exhale, down to center. Inhale, out and up. And then exhale, down to center. One more time, inhale, reach it up. This time we're gonna keep the hands up and we're gonna interlace the hands up to the sky, palms up to the sky. Exhale, we're gonna side bend. And inhale to center. Exhale, side bend, other side. Inhale to center. Release the hands, circle the wrists all the way down. Roll the shoulders. And then we're going to come to warrior. So I'm going to start by stepping my right foot back and my left foot will be forward. Doesn't necessarily matter. You can start either side. But just to share, that's what I'm starting with. And we're going to find warrior 2. So set up for warrior 2. Check in with the heels, check in with this front knee. If it's going past the toes, you might want to come up a little bit. Good, hands can start at the hips, just to get the lower body situated. We'll start to look forward towards wherever your front toes are pointing. And then when you're ready, let's reach the arms out like wings for warrior 2. Good. Strengthen both legs equally. Find your balance. Gently engaging that lower core that we warmed up. Fabulous. We're going to straighten the front leg, inhale, and reach the arms up to a star position. We're going to turn the toes to point forward so that we can bring the feet into a wide lunge here. And then we're going to bend the knees into goddess, sink the hips. We're going to bring the hands to your knees or your lap. And then we're going to drop your right shoulder down towards the floor, creating a little bit of a twist. So we're going to drop the right shoulder and look over to your left. A little bit of a extra stretch there. Good, we'll come back to center. Both shoulders come to neutral, and then we'll sink that left shoulder down towards the floor, looking over any amount to the right. And we'll look back forward, shoulders come back to neutral. We're gonna straighten the legs and reach the arms up to the sky into a star. And then exhale, we're gonna swan dive forward. Lead with your chest and fold forward. Fingertips touch a prop or the floor. Let the head fall heavy. We are next going to inhale and lift your body halfway so that the back is lengthened and the crown of the head is reaching. Bring your hands to your hips, engage your core, and then slowly with a straight flat back, we're gonna come all the way up to standing. Ooh, nice and strong. We're gonna set up for warrior two now on the other side. So I'm gonna now turn my right toes towards the front or now back edge of my mat. Adjust for warrior two. You can start with hands at hips to get the lower body nice and situated. And when you're ready, reach the arms out, warrior two, warrior dose. Maybe looking towards that front middle finger. Let the shoulders draw down. Core is strong, just ever so slightly engaging that lower core. Noticing the strength needed between both legs. Not just this front bent leg, but this back leg is strong like a tree trunk. Awesome. We're going to inhale, straighten your front leg that's bent. Turn the toes to face forward, reach the arms up to the shape of a T, or I guess a Y. It's more like a Y, isn't it? And then we're going to bend the knees, sink the hips into goddess pose. Hands come to your lap or knees. And then again, we're gonna do that motion where we twist. We're gonna drop the right shoulder down towards the floor and looking any amount over the left shoulder. And we'll inhale, untwist. Exhale, let the left shoulder sink down to the floor. Twisting, turning your gaze to the right. Good. We'll inhale, untwist. Straighten the legs, reach the arms up to a star pose. And then exhale, we're going to swan dive forward, lead with your chest, fold forward into a wide-legged forward fold. And if you're feeling fancy, if you want to do any other arm variation, if you're able to today, you can grab the elbows. You could even reach behind and interlace the fingers behind the back. Or again, you can use props, because again, we're not here to perform to 100%. We're here just to practice so that we can do it again next week. We don't want to hinder our future practice just because our ego wants us to push as far as possible. And feel that pressure being removed from the neck and the spine in your fold. And I didn't mention it before, but if you need to bend the knees, bend them a little bit if you need to. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. The next inhale, lift yourself halfway, lengthen through the crown of the head so that it's nice, one straight line from the base of your spine to your neck and your head. Bring your hands to your hips, strengthen your core muscles to prepare, and then inhale, flat back, come all the way up to standing. If you haven't already, awesome. We're going to step to the top of your mat for Tadasana. Again, we're gonna find Tadasana if you need to roll up the ankles or anything like that, or make any other stretches. And then set up for your mountain pose, Tadasana. Turn the palms forward, shoulders back. And we're going to inhale and sweep the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, we're going to swan dive forward. Lead with the heart, fold forward. Bend the knees if you need to. We're going to inhale and lift halfway. Exhale, refold, planting fingertips to your prop or the floor. And we're going to step your left foot back. So the right foot will stay forward, left foot will step back. I'm going to give two options. You can either keep this back knee lifted, or you can drop it down, perhaps uncurl the toes. Lifting the knee will give you more intensity, and dropping the knee will give you a little bit more of a rest. So either option. We're going to keep the left hand planted on the inside of your right foot, either again on fingertips or a prop. Once you're set up, we're going to inhale, twist, reaching your right arm up to the sky. And again, this back knee can be lifted or down. 3 breaths here. One more. Awesome. Bring both hands forward, and we're going to take a big step forward. Top of your mat, forward fold. Let the head fall heavy. Next, inhale on your own, lift halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold back forward. And we're going to take the other side. So I'm going to step my right foot back and keep my left foot forward. Your choice, yogi's choice, if you want to keep the back knee lifted or drop it down. This time you might have more of an idea of what you want to do here. Right hand will come to the inside of your left foot. Again, prop or no prop. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, twist, reach your left arm up to the sky. Heart over towards the other side of the room. 3 breaths. If you're putting a lot of pressure on the wrist, remember that hand lock by spreading the fingers and getting the weight even through the fingertips. One more breath. Fabulous. Both hands come forward, and this time we're going to step backward into downward dog. Take another big breath in and out. On your inhale, roll forward either to plank or knees down. Exhale, we're going to lower down chaturanga. Inhale, come up to your back bend. I'm going to come up to my forearms for a Sphinx pose. There's no pressure though if you can't come up to this on this particular day. No problem, come to the palms. Otherwise, if possible, come up to the forearms. And then we're going to bend one knee. I'm going to bend my right knee. And whether you're on your palms or up on your forearms, you can stay right here. Or if you're feeling fancy, you can kind of, how do I want to say this? You can kind of kickstand your front left arm here for support, and then possibly reach back for the foot. Again, totally optional. This is just for fun, not required. But if you're able to grab the foot, you can find a nice stretch for the hip flexors, and the quad muscles here might be pretty tight right now. If that's not possible, you might even reach for clothing, or in the future, I didn't give you guys a warning to get a strap today, but in the future, you could do this later today with a strap or a belt or a towel. So if you're here, take 3 more breaths. If you're just bending one knee, that's great too. So you will look like this. Great. If you grabbed the foot, slowly place it down without slingshotting it back down. Come back to your neutral back bend. And then we're going to bend the other knee. So again, this might be where you're at, and you might just bend this one knee. Possibly you can kickstand this front right hand and reach back for the foot if possible. Good. If you grabbed the foot, slowly place it back down with love. And then we're going to come down to rest. You can stack your hands or rest either side of your face to the mat. And if it feels okay, this part's optional. If you want to, you can bend the knees again and then just sway the feet from side to side. Awesome. The palms will come back to the mat. We'll place the feet on the floor. And then we're going to come up to all fours. And we're not going to come straight into child's pose. We're going to start with our puppy dog pose, which is kind of like a similar version of child's pose. But we're not going to sink the hips. We're going to keep your hips directly over your knees. Feel free if you need something squishy under the knees. We're going to keep the hips over the knees. And then we're just going to walk your hands forward, any amount forward, and stretch the back. Maybe you might just let the head fall. You might be able to rest your head onto the floor. Either option. Try to release any tension from the back of the neck while you do this. And I'll invite you to stay in this puppy dog stretch as long as you'd like. Whenever your back feels ready to, you can start to walk your hands towards you and sink the hips slowly towards your heels for child's pose. So make your transition when you're ready, and we'll meet in child's pose. While you are in your child's pose, we're going to take a side body stretch. So next breath, we're going to start to just walk your hands over to your right, maybe a foot or a couple inches. Rest the head onto one of the arms or the floor. Breathe into the side that you're opening up. We'll walk the hands back through center and then walk your hands over to the other side. Same as before, take a couple breaths. And then walking the hands back to center. I'm going to roll back up to tabletop and just rinse it out with some cat-cow stretches. Holding each pose for a breath. And while we're here, let's curl the toes under and give the feet a nice stretch. So you can sink back any amount. You might even come all the way up to sit tall here, or you can keep the hands in front of you. And the intensity for this stretch for the foot can get very intense very fast. So just be aware if when you need to come out. Some of us might only be in this for a couple seconds. Some might be able to stay a little bit longer. But give yourself as much time here as you need until you feel that it's a no. Even for me, this is a very intense stretch, but it's so good because our feet could really use it. Good. And now we're going to come out if you're still with us. If not, we're all going to come out and we're just going to tap the feet, say hi. If you have any people downstairs, if you live in a house or an apartment, they'll give them a little hello. Good. And then we're going to come to lay down. I'm going to scoot a little bit closer. How much time do I have? All right. I still got some time. We're going to come to our backs and hug the knees in. Hug them in. And we're going to twist, reach, letting the knees fall to whichever side. Arms reach out to a T. And we'll twist. Next time you inhale, bring your head and knees back to center. And exhale over to the other side. Nice twist. I don't know if you heard my back just popped. I'm okay. It's that time of year where everything's getting crackly. But it is such a beautiful day out today. I'm for sure going to go for a walk after this. Because walking, fun fact, if you didn't already know, or if you didn't already kind of get that feeling about it, when you go for a walk, especially alone, and you go for a walk, that counts as a type of meditation. So you're doing two things in one. You're walking and you're meditating at the same time. So yeah, there's, meditation where you're, traditionally closing the eyes and breathing. But then there's other meditations like visual. You can sit and look at the lake. That's a meditation. Or walking. That's a type of meditation if you're walking and breathing and just looking around at your surroundings. Let's take another breath. And we'll come back to center. And I'll give you 30 seconds or a minute or so to take any last poses or stretches or movements. Whatever your favorite is or whatever your body needs today, if it's a full body stretch or if it's happy baby or just some rocking to massage your low back. And whatever you need to do. I'm going to set up to get for Shavasana. So I'm going to get a little bit closer to you guys and set up for that. And you can as well set up for Shavasana, however you like to be today. If you want to lay down on your bed or couch, if you want to lay down on your mat, if you're already there, whatever sounds good. So give yourself that time. And once you get comfortable, start to relax your facial muscles. Start to relax your shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. Your chest, your solar plexus, your low belly, grounding both hips and letting the legs, feet, and toes fall naturally out to either side. And before drifting off into our time for ourselves to recuperate, to process, I'll read you this little reading real quick. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still. And just like that, something in me settles, softens, makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to a whisper, and I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we will all cross the finish line, that waking up to life is what we were born for. As many times as I forget, catch myself charging forward without even knowing where I'm going, that many times I can make the choice to stop, to breathe, and be, and slowly into the mystery. Now all you have to do is breathe, Shavasana. Slowly welcome your breath into your lungs, filling your lungs with a full capacity of air. Letting that breath go out through the lips as you slowly start to reawaken fingers and toes, joints, muscles, bones. And slowly rolling over to one side to rest your head onto one of the arms as a pillow. And reminding yourself of one or a couple things that you're grateful for. Once you found your gratitude, make your way up to a tall, strong seated position. Meet with your hands together in prayer position in front of the heart. And breathe as usual, in and out through the nose. And as you breathe, I ask you here silently, how does it feel to be you right now in this very moment? Thank you so much for making it here on your mat today. Namaste. Thanks so much, guys. I hope that you have a really good rest of your week. Go take a walk. Or if you don't have time to take a walk tomorrow.